Hi, I'm Shoestring Jane. Welcome back to my channel where, as you know, I talk about all things thrifty, frugal and money saving. And today thought I would do another 10 things that I don't buy to save money, and in some cases to save waste as well, which is always on my mind really. So I did one which I will link below quite a while ago now, it must have been a year or so ago. I'll link that below so you can have a look at the first things that came into my head. But I'm kind of gearing myself up for a no-spend January. It's mid-December now, and I was just thinking about things I wouldn't buy because, you know, I've got a no-spend January coming up and I won't be spending anything at all except on total essentials. So I do spend during no-spend January because, you know, you still have to pay your bills, don't you? But I try to keep my spending as low as possible. January is a good month to do it as well because after Christmas and the excesses of Christmas it seems sensible. Oh, Lola's trying to get into the video again. She will keep doing this, won't she? Ultimately. Anyway, I'll move on to my first point. So the first thing that I don't buy, and I wouldn't say I never buy this, but it's kind of an emergency thing if I bought it, is fast food. I'm not a fan of fast food. I don't like junk food anyway. I don't like all of the waste and the packaging that goes with it. I think it's really unhealthy. She's getting her tail in my video again. You're putting me off, silly cat. You know, I think it's really bad for you. It always leaves me feeling temporarily satiated, and then, I don't know, half an hour later I always feel hungry again, and it's too salty. I end up feeling thirsty as well. So I'm not a fan, but occasionally I have been caught out where I've been somewhere and maybe I've been a lot longer than I thought, and then if that's the only option, then obviously I would go for it, but I try not to do it. I'm not interested in fast food. I don't think it's very good for you, as I say, and there's just so much packaging involved, even though they've got a bit better, certainly at places like McDonald's, at bringing your food to you in cardboard. There's still quite an element of this plastic, and I think the cups are not entirely recyclable and that kind of thing. So I can, you know, make my own food. So I'd rather make my own food or buy something that's quick if necessary, if I want something that's fast. So that would be my first one, fast food. So number 2 is branded clothing. And I'm thinking really of clothing with maybe sports clothing and clothing with logos on. I'm just not interested in that. I'm not interested in advertising a certain company. I mean, my daughter loves Adidas, or Adidas, however you pronounce it, and will happily wear anything that's got that written on it, or any of the other some of the other sporty type things. Whereas I think, you know, if I've got a sweatshirt, I can have anything on it really. I wouldn't rush to get one that's got a branded kind of sportswear type logo on it. I would never go and buy one new. Occasionally I've picked up secondhand things that have been practical and worn those, like a hoodie, that kind of thing, but I wouldn't rush to buy new branded clothing, and particularly not those ones that have a logo all over them, because I think, you know, you're advertising that company. Why should you do that? You've paid enough for the item, but it's a kind of status symbol, isn't it? People like certain, especially the more expensive brands, they like people to see. It's a show-off thing, isn't it? They want people to see what they can afford, and I'm just not interested in that at all. It actually puts me off, if anything. So that's one thing that I don't buy, branded clothing, sports clothing. And another thing that I don't buy is bottled water. I've said this in other videos, I think. I just can't see the point of bottled water. In this country, we have perfectly good, clean tap water. You may not like the taste of it. I know some people say it tastes a bit chlorinated, but for me, I think it's fine. And if you're that bothered, just get a water filter that you can use again and again and again, rather than endless plastic water bottles. That doesn't make any sense to me. There's the expense. I know you can get very cheap bottled water, but I don't think it comes from a spring. I think it just comes out of a tap and then they put it in a bottle. What's the point of that? But some of it's quite expensive. And again, there's all the packaging that's involved in it. Endless bottles when you can just get a reusable bottle, take it with you, fill it up from your tap and take it with you. You can even get some of those water bottles that have got built-in filters, so it filters itself as you go along. So if you really care about that kind of thing, get one of those. So that's something I just don't buy. I don't see the point of it, bottled water. And moving on to my next item, this would be air fresheners. And I am thinking particularly of the solid plug-in air fresheners, but also the ones you get in the car. Whenever I've gone to have my car valeted, which doesn't happen very often, but I have occasionally, they always put one of these horrible cardboard motif things, like a Christmas tree or whatever, that dangles from your mirror, and it is overpowering. It actually makes me cough. It makes me feel quite unwell. I find I'm quite sensitive to very powerful faux perfumes, that kind of. I don't think they're very good for you. I mean, they make me feel quite unwell. As I say, give me a headache, make me feel a bit sick, and make me cough as well. So, I don't think I want to have any kind of air freshener in my car, but neither do I want them in my house. So I wouldn't have one of these plug-in Glade type things that makes your home smell like a meadow, because it doesn't. It doesn't bring fresh air in. It does the opposite of bringing fresh air in. It actually pollutes your environment. So again, they tend to be made of plastic, and I doubt they're recyclable. They're probably mixed materials. I don't buy them, so I don't know, but I doubt it, especially not the plug-in ones. So I wouldn't buy air fresheners. Something else that I wouldn't buy, I've never bought, and it's never made any sense to me financially, is a brand new car. I know some people love having their brand new cars every few years, but for me, you lose so much money. They depreciate in value so rapidly in the first few years of you owning it. Somebody said to me, even just driving off the forecourt, you'll have lost a couple of grand. So it doesn't make any sense to me. I would rather buy one lightly used 4 or 5 years later and get it that much cheaper, really. And you've still got a lot of years of travelling in that used car. Sometimes they're not so lightly used, the cars I have. I think the one I bought last time was, where are we now? It was about 10 years old, and I've still got it, and it's absolutely perfect. It's one of the nicest cars I've ever had. I really like driving it. It's very economical as far as fuel goes. I've never had any issues with it. I think one MOT threw up a light bulb that needed replacing, which they just did. And I think it's passed the other 2 times that I've had it, since I've had it. So, used cars. Sometimes I think as well with new models, sometimes the manufacturers recall them, don't they? Because they find there are certain issues with them. And, if you buy a used car, those have been all resolved by the time they get to you. So a new car is not something that I would ever buy. And another thing that I no longer buy, that I have in the past, is a gym membership, because they're quite expensive. I think if I had a lot of money, I'd probably have a gym membership. But when you're living a life of frugality and you're trying to save money where you can, then spending money on a gym membership doesn't make any sense, because you can do a lot of the things that you do in a gym by yourself. I mean, I think I said recently in one of my videos that we found an outdoor gym in one of the local parks here. I think mainly students use it, because obviously they notoriously have no money. But you can go for a run, you can do yoga, you can do any kind of exercise class from a YouTube video, and you can just do stuff at home, can't you? You can even do weight training. You can get some weights. I bought some weights from Argos a few years ago, do some weight training at home. And I know it's not exactly the same, but I'm just talking about things I don't buy because I'm saving money. So that is one of the things that I no longer spend any money on, and that's a gym membership. Something else that my daughters used to moan at me for not buying, but I never saw a good reason to buy it, and that is shaving cream. I just think, well, shaving cream is just soap in a tube, isn't it, really? And again, there's more packaging involved, and I've just found if I lather up some soap and put it all over my legs or wherever I'm going to shave, it works perfectly well. You just want something to stop the razor dragging over your skin, don't you? So I just think any soap is fine. My daughter used to use cheap conditioner instead, which I can't really see the point of that either, but she said it would stop the friction anyway. So you could do that. But I honestly don't think that shaving cream or shaving foam is a necessity. I guess if I was a man and had a stubbly chin, I don't know, I might feel differently about it. Perhaps you really do need soap then. But you can buy solid shaving soap, can't you, with a brush? My dad used to use that years ago. He always used that. Just lathered it up, the solid soap, and put it over his face, and that worked perfectly well. So actually, I've just argued myself out of that one. But yeah, shaving cream. Can't see the point of it. Certainly won't be buying it anytime in the future. So the next one on my list of things I don't buy is fizzy drinks, sodas, cola, that kind of thing, lemonade. Never buy them, don't like them. I feel that with cola particularly, somebody told me they did an experiment in school. I can't remember exactly what it was, but they put a coin in cola and it started to disintegrate. Okay, editing Jane here. It doesn't dissolve, it just really cleans the pennies, makes them shiny because of the acid in the Coke. I think cola feels like it's rotting your teeth as you drink it. Even the sugar-free ones feel like they're full of chemicals and nasties. And and what are they? It's just sugar. It's sugar and water and fizz. I can't, I'd rather have a cup of tea. Give me a cup of tea or a glass of water. Not interested in fizzy drinks, and I would not waste my money on them. So that is a habit, if I did have it, that I would try very hard to break, a bit like smoking. I'd try very hard to break that habit if I was new to frugality and I did love my fizzy drinks. I suppose you could invest in a second-hand soda stream and make your own, but I'm not sure that's any cheaper really. But at least you wouldn't have all those plastic bottles, would you? So that's the next thing on my list. Fizzy drinks, don't buy them. So this is actually number 9 on my list. I haven't been numbering them, have I? But another thing that I don't think it's worth buying, I certainly wouldn't buy, is product insurance, particularly for white goods. When you buy yourself a new fridge freezer or a washing machine, the salespeople will always try to sell you an extended warranty. And I really don't think that they're worth it. You get like a year's guarantee on most of them anyway. Well, you should get a year's guarantee at least. If you can get a longer guarantee, even better. And if they get worn out, they don't cover you. They only cover you for things going wrong and accidental damage and that kind of thing. So I really don't think they are worth buying. I think they're a waste of money, and I wouldn't be buying those. And the final thing on my list of things that I don't buy and no longer buy is pre-chopped produce. So chopped up vegetables, pre-mashed potatoes, chopped up salads, and that kind of thing. Again, I prefer to buy the whole fruit and vegetables because they stay fresher for longer. They stay fresh until you want to use them. They're not in loads of plastic packaging, and they are much cheaper because you're not paying somebody else to prepare them for you. And I think as soon as you start chopping up fruit and vegetables, they start to lose some of their vitamins. So if you chop them fresh and use them straight away, they're much more nutritious. So I don't buy pre-chopped produce. I understand that if you had severe arthritis in your hands or something, that would be the time. That would be the time to buy pre-chopped produce. But until then, I wouldn't be buying them. So that completes my next lot of 10 things I no longer buy. And to save money and to save waste in a lot of cases, I hope it wasn't too distracting. I've got so much noise here today. There's noise outside the house, people talking and crashing and banging. I've got the dog barking, the postman coming, and this little cat just trying to get involved in the video all the time. So it's not highly professional. You don't get this on the BBC, do you? Never mind. Anyway, if you enjoyed this, please do give me the thumbs up. I really appreciate it. It does really help the algorithm, and apparently if you get enough thumbs up, YouTube are more likely to show the video to other people that might enjoy it. So I do appreciate it if you do that. And leave me a comment below to tell me what you stopped buying to save money. And don't forget to subscribe so that you know next time I am about to publish a video. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.